It finally happened. Danielle Smith stood her ground, and Mark Carney was shown the door, and with that Alberta sent a message to Ottawa louder and more defiantly than ever before. Hands off our energy industry. Carney came marching into Alberta with the confidence of someone who thought he could dictate terms, peddling globalist climate taxes, rehearsing platitudes about sustainability, and pushing policies that would devastate the very heart of Alberta's economy. But this time someone stood up. Danielle Smith said, "No, no more backroom deals disguised as national policy, no more treating Alberta as an economic colony, no more letting unelected elites walk into the West and tell people how to live, work and build." Mark Carney, a former banker, liberal insider, and the darling of the global climate elite, thought he could bring Alberta to heel with a carbon export tax dressed up in fancy language, but make no mistake, it was a direct attack on Alberta's sovereignty, jobs, and economic lifeblood. His vision wasn't about collaboration or national unity, it was about control, and Danielle Smith, she saw right through it. She didn't flinch, she didn't try to appease him with polite political language. She ended the meeting. Full stop. Not with niceties, not with press releases, with action, because Alberta has had enough of being scolded by people who've never set foot on a rig, enough of being taxed by bureaucrats who don't understand what it takes to build something real, enough of being talked down to by people who've never had to make payroll in Medicine Hat or keep a drilling operation going through a 40°C winter in Grande Prairie. Mark Carney brought a message: comply or pay, and Smith gave her response: get out. Carney's so-called climate leadership is a masterclass in hypocrisy. Here's a man who preaches carbon responsibility while hiding $5.3 billion in offshore accounts, a man who wants pipeline workers to lose their jobs while he profits from green energy funds tied to foreign market, a man who lives in luxury lectures and boardrooms and lobbies for economic policies that would blue-collar families. If you're watching this and still with us, it's probably because you're tired of being treated like a second-class citizen in your own country, tired of the double standards, tired of watching politicians cozy up to billionaires while punishing the people who keep this country running. You're not alone. Carney's export tax idea wasn't about the environment, it was a Trojan horse, one designed to give Ottawa the power to dictate how Alberta produces prices and exports its resources. If passed, it would give the federal government unprecedented leverage, controlling production levels, approving infrastructure, even setting price floors, all from a sleek office in Toronto, miles away from the people impacted. This is not environmentalism. This is economic colonization. The Liberals and their backers in elite institutions don't want Alberta to thrive, because when Alberta thrives, it shows their model is broken. A strong, independent, resource-rich province proves that growth doesn't require centralization, taxation, or foreign investment. It just takes courage, work, and the freedom to get things done, and nothing terrifies them more than a province that refuses to bend, because their game depends on control they want Canadians dependent on. Ottawa's programs on climate, handouts on subsidies, they control. When you're dependent, you can be managed, but Danielle Smith is breaking that cycle, and they hate her for it. This isn't just about Alberta anymore. If Ottawa can choke out Alberta's oil and gas sector, Saskatchewan's agriculture is next, then it's Newfoundland's offshore drilling, then every independent provincial economy that doesn't fit their centralist vision. This is a fight for the very idea of Canada. Is this a federation of free and equal provinces, or is it a top-down experiment run from Ottawa where decisions are made by insiders in suits, not workers in boots? This next election won't be clean, it won't be quiet, it's going to be a fight for the country's soul. We're with the builders, with the families who depend on oil jobs, with farmers who can't afford diesel, with small-town Canadians watching their communities hollowed out because federal politicians chase climate scores instead of economic reality, and while they suffer, Carney's world profits. Every time Canada cancels a pipeline, foreign oil becomes more valuable. Every time we tax a refinery into closure, Carney's climate investment funds grow stronger. That's not a coincidence, that's the plan. He's not a neutral actor, he's not just another economist, he's neck deep in global finance, in the very portfolios and funds that would benefit if Alberta's industry fails, and that should terrify every Canadian who values integrity and public policy. If a conservative stormed into a province, dodged taxes, and tried to push through a sweeping economic policy, the media would explode. But Mark Carney, he gets praised, protected, celebrated, because he fits the narrative, because he's one of them. Meanwhile, Danielle Smith stands up for her province, and she's branded as extreme. This isn't just media bias, this is complicity. The political class doesn't see the storm coming, but it's here, the silent majority. The rig workers, the farmers, the truckers, the small business owners. They've had enough. They're tired of being blamed for the country's problems, while the elite skip accountability entirely. They want a government that builds, not bans, that respects effort, not just credentials, that puts Canadian families first, not global carbon targets. Smith is giving those people a voice. Pierre Poilievre is amplifying it, and across this country a real movement is forming, one that doesn't care what the media thinks, one that isn't afraid to call out carbon colonialism for what it is. This moment in Alberta isn't a footnote, it's a spark. Danielle Smith is invoking Constitutional Powers Section 92 to assert Alberta's control over its natural resources, and that's not radical, it's lawful, it's long overdue, and it's inspiring other provinces to take a hard look at Ottawa's overreach. Saskatchewan is watching, so is British Columbia, even Ontario is starting to feel the pressure, because if Alberta can stand up, others can follow. That's how decentralization begins, not with paperwork but with defiance. And Carney, he triggered something far bigger than a policy discussion. He's triggered a reckoning. Ottawa is out of touch, while the capital obsesses over green talking points and photo ops. Rural Canadians are being crushed. Rising costs, fewer jobs, more regulation, less voice. It's not sustainable, it's not just, and it's not Canadian. Let's be clear, Carney's export tax isn't just bad economics, it's political warfare designed to undermine conservative-led provinces, justify new forms of federal interference, and funnel wealth to regions and programs that keep Liberals in power. This is economic sabotage in a tailored suit. This is how they win, by weakening the provinces one by one. But not this time. Danielle Smith drew a line, and now it's up to us to hold it. This isn't just a moment, it's a movement. If you care about Canadian job sovereignty and economic freedom, stand up, speak out, share this message, push back, vote them out. Because if we lose this fight, we won't get another one, and if Alberta falls, every province is next. We are done being ruled by bureaucrats in far-off cities. We are done being taxed into poverty while the elite hide their money overseas. We are done with the lies, the spin, the manufactured outrage. Danielle Smith threw down the gauntlet. Now it's up to us to finish what she started.